Hey you guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel. Peter likes books because I do. Okay, so I have some big announcements today to make. I have some very disappointing news probably for a lot of people out there, but it's just gonna have to kind of be what it is. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, that don't follow my other channels out there, my husband and I, we went to Florida and we were there for Ultra Music Festival, and then we stayed for another week, and that was the last week of March going into the beginning of April. When we got back from Florida, we were back like a day and I started to get sick. That weekend, I went into the hospital and I was in the hospital for a week, and then I have been gone trying to heal and get better and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so when I was in Florida, I finished Daisy Jones and the Six, which was, I believe, my March book for Peter's Book Club. And then I started How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix, which was my February book for Peter's Book Club. I was doing them like back to back. I thought I would finish it like real quick. But in all honesty, I'm kind of real bored with the book. And so like when I go to read or listen to an audiobook, like I'm just not real excited about it. And so that's where we're at with Peter's Book Club. Okay, and that's why I haven't done really any updates on that. I want to do a full review of Daisy Jones and the Six and what I thought about all of that. And I will be doing that video on this channel coming up in the next couple days probably. But I'm really stuck in How to Sell a Haunted House. Well, what happened was, so I got sick and I got home and I'm healing, and I started watching a lot of TV shows because in all honesty, it was just easy for me to sit in a chair and watch a TV show. And I really wasn't able, and I actually talked to my neurologist about this yesterday. I was like, I'm having a really hard time like focusing, reading and listening to audiobooks and whatever. And he was like, you just got to keep on practicing. It'll come back. He was like, you know, whatever. And so this is gonna be the month that I force myself to just really get back into it. And if you've watched my videos for the last couple months, you know I've been struggling, but I have been reading some, I have been. And so I had picked I believe the April book for Peter's Book Club was Shady Hollow. And then Mel and I also have the March book and the April book for a True Crime Book Club. Well, I was sitting there one night, and this was about a week and a half ago, and I started feeling real overwhelmed by it. I was like, okay, I haven't picked a May book yet for Peter's Book Club, and I haven't done the review of Daisy Jones and the Six for March, and I haven't even finished the February book for Peter's Book Club yet, right? I haven't even started either one, or the March or the April book for a True Crime Book Club, and I'm so behind, and really, to be honest with you, the last thing that I want to do right now is read when I'm not feeling great, right? Like that's how I felt like a week and a half ago. I'm feeling like I want to read now, but that's how I felt like a week and a half ago. So I called up Mel and I said, my book club partner for True Crime Book Club, and I said, how would you feel about, and we already had the book picked out for May, like we already know what we're doing for May and everything like that. It's a serial killer. It's a very personal story to me, just hint, hint. But I said, how would you feel about the fact how would you feel about skipping May and not doing a book for the book of May or for the month of May, and then we will resume in June? And she said, she is so supportive of me, and she was like, I'm totally fine with that. You need to get better. You need to heal. People will understand. It'll be fine. So I was like, okay. So we are going to start a True Crime Book Club back in June, and we will be announcing in the next week or two the book that we're going to be reading for June. Now, if you've watched my videos, or you followed, or you're part of the True Crime Book Club, what you'll know is the last, I think, 2 years, we've done Summer of Serial Killers, which is where June, July, and August, we read about serial killers. So this summer is going to be no different. June, July, and August, we're going to read about serial killers. We actually already have all 3 serial killers that we're going to be reading picked out. I'm not going to tell you yet because I want you to be surprised. But we have all 3 serial killers for June, July, and August already picked out. The June one, Mel and I are both very, very excited about. We also have some auxiliary materials like documentaries, YouTube videos, and things like that that you can watch in addition. Podcasts, things like that. If you don't want to just read the book, if you also want to, like, you know, watch the documentaries and things, we have a lot of that as well that we're going to start including with each month that we do it. As far as the live stream for the last 2 true crime books that we've done for March and April, we're going to do that probably the last week of March, the first week of June. We're going to do the live stream one of those weeks. We'll announce it when we're going to do it, and it'll be over both of the books. So it'll be probably an hour and a half live stream. But I've got to be able to finish those books, first of all. So my plan this month is to finish the 2 True Crime Book Club books, and then also to finish Shady Hollow, and also to finish How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. So those are my 4 books. I have 4 books I'm going to finish in the month of May. And so yeah, so that's the plan for True Crime Book Club. As far as Peter's Book Club, I'm also taking a break for the month of May. And in June, I will come back, and I will probably the last week of May, I will announce on Instagram and probably over here as well, what the book will be for June. And then I will resume back in June doing Peter's Book Club. And I don't even know how many of you are reading along and reading the books that I post over on Instagram and stuff, but I have a really fun time picking the books and doing that. So, and I'm actually really excited about reading Shady Hollow by, I think it's by Juneau Black. And I've heard the audio version is narrated by Cassandra Campbell, who narrates all of the Misfortune books. And so I've heard it's just like fantastically done. So I'm really, I think it's by Cassandra Campbell. So I'm really excited about listening to that. But I've just got to get back into the mode of reading. You know, this is the thing, like when I first started on BookTube, you know, when I first started on YouTube or BookTube, and this week, so today is the 9th, 10th, 11th. So Thursday is my 7-year anniversary on BookTube. And the first year that I was on BookTube, you know, I did book hauls because I would see people do book hauls. And so I would go to Barnes & Noble or Half Price Books, and I would spend $20 and $30 like a week on books, you know. And I would do all of these different videos that I thought that, you know, people wanted from me, or that, you know, people were doing on YouTube, because I just wanted to be part of that world so bad. Like, I loved BookTube so much, I just wanted to be part of that world, right? And what I've realized over time with the booktubers that I watch and the ones that I love are the ones that are the most down to earth and are the most real, and the ones that, like, when they're really struggling reading, like, there's a lot of booktubers out there, in all honesty, that, like, I used to watch, and now they read like 5 books a year, and I'm like, part of me in the back of my head is like, okay, so you're a booktuber, but you only read 5 books a year. But I kind of get it sometimes, you know what I mean? And what I appreciate about some of them is that they're really pretty honest about it. They're like, I've just been going through a really, like, you know, like a reading slump, and I haven't been wanting to read for 6 months, you know? And then they come back, and then they start reading again. And so I think it's really important to normalize that, because I think for a lot of us out there that have read most of our lives, I mean, I've read ever since I was a little kid. You know, my mom would take me to the library, and she'd say, get as many books as you want. And I'd go out there with, like, you know, and she'd say, you're not going to possibly read it. Oh, yes, I am, Mom. Yes, I am. You know, and I've loved books my whole life, and I've loved reading. But to say that I'm going to go and read at the current rate that I've always read isn't going to happen. You know, I told my doctor yesterday, I said, I was listening to 12 to 15 audiobooks a month, you know? And he was like, well, things change. He was like, but you'll get back to that if that's what you want to get back to. So I'm just kind of, I wouldn't even say I'm necessarily in a reading slump right now. I'm just kind of finding, I don't know, my wheels again when it comes to reading and where it's comfortable for me, you know? For a long time, I just couldn't sit there and just listen to an audiobook, but I am now comfortable just sitting in the chair out front listening to an audiobook, and I plan to start walking and listening to audiobooks because I think that will help me as well. So I'm hoping to come out of all of this. I do have a plan. So we will be back in June with a True Crime Book Club, and we will also be back, I will be back in June for Peter's Book Club. I hope that you guys understand, and I will be picking a great book for the month of June for Peter's Book Club, and Mel and I already have a very good book picked for True Crime Book Club for June. So it's going to be an exciting summer, and I hope that you will read along with me. Yeah, I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.